Today what we're going to do is we're going to be still doing circle problems, except now, instead of just the area and the circumference, instead of just doing those two things, we're going to expand a little bit more to harder problems. So let's review real quick the basics of circles. Okay, if I had a circle, there are two vocab words, radius and diameter, right? Radius is when I have half of the circle, half of a line going through the circle. So here's my half, right? If I told you the radius, that's not the whole entire piece, right? It stops through half of the mid of the circle, right? So my radius here is 5. If I asked you for the diameter, it would be if I just kept going, right? The diameter is always double whatever the radius is. So imagine if I stopped and got to 5 and I kept going, I got to go 5 more. That would be my diameter would be 10. Okay, so I'm going to draw you another circle to show you. So again, I have a circle here. This time I'm going to give you the diameter. The diameter is when I have the line going from one end to the other end. Okay, it does not stop halfway. So if I had, let's say, a diameter of 12, right? From one end to the other end, it is 12. The radius would be half of that. So if the whole piece is 12, half of that would be my radius, which would be 6. Okay, so we spent last week finding the area and circumference. So we find the area by doing 3.14 times radius. So depending on how your picture looks, you can now find the radius or diameter. And then to find the circumference, we do 3.14 times diameter. Okay, circumference is just kind of a fancy word. Think about the perimeter of a circle. Instead of using the word perimeter, we use circumference. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1. It says find the area of the shaded space. Okay, find the area of the shaded space. So I'm going to put this in red. So here's the amount of area I'm trying to find. So take a look at this picture. Imagine having a square, right? And it's filled. This is my whole area of the square, right? Area means inside. Okay. And then what happened is that we went and we cut a big circle out of it, right? And we took out all this center space. So what's really left is, right, the 4, kind of like the right corners of the picture. Okay, so that's the only area I'm trying to find. So the easiest way to do that is find the area of the entire square. Let's find the area of the entire square before we cut out the circle. So let's figure out what the area was before we cut out that circle. So let's look at the dimensions of our square. It tells me it's 6 by 6. Well, we know we can find the area of the square. To find area of square, we do length times width, which 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, that was the area of the square before we cut out this white circle, right? So now let's find the area of the circle. All right, the area of the circle, well, we know we could use this formula up here. Area equals 3.14 times radius times radius. So what I need to find is the radius. Okay, well, they don't tell me, right? But if I know this up here from one end to the square to the other is 6, then if I draw a line through the center of the circle, it still goes from one end to the square to the other end. So I know, now that would be my diameter, right? We said diameter is full all across the circle. My diameter is 6. So that means my radius is always half that, right? Half that. My radius would be 3. So let's multiply that by 3 times 3, right? That was my formula for every square. So 3.14 times 3 times 3 is 28.26. Now let's kind of make sure this makes sense. if you accidentally did 3.14 times 6, right, and you use the diameter instead of the radius, you would get a number. I'm going to actually work that out to show you guys. So imagine if I would have done 3.14 times 6 times 6. I would get a really big number. I think it's like 113. Okay? That would not make sense because the square is bigger than the circle, right? The circle is inside the square. And the area of our square was 36. So I can't have the area of the circle be 113. That's way bigger than the square. So it makes sense that my area of my circle is less than 36, right? So I want to figure out, okay, if I had the whole entire square was 36, I just cut out a circle that was 28.26, what's left, right? What's left is, I'm going to make this a little bit cleaner. What left is the pink spot that I kind of colored in the first time. I want to figure out, well, what's left? So there's something I need to do with my two numbers, right? It makes sense that I want to subtract the two because I want to figure out, well, what's left? After I cut out that circle, what was left of the square? So I'm going to do 36 minus 28.26, which I get a final answer of 7.74 meters squared because they were talking about area. Okay? All right. That is my method of how you would do, how you would find the area of the shaded space when you have a circle inside a square. Okay, let's try number 2. All right, for number 2, I want you to find the area of the shaded space. So look what I have. I have 4 circles. So if I could find the area of one circle, all I had to do is multiply that by 4 because I have 4 of them. So let's use the numbers that we have. Okay, from one end to the square to the other end, they tell me is 5, right? So if I want to find, if I know all of this is 5, okay, but I really just want to look at one of these circles for right now. If that whole long piece was 5, and I just erased half of it, right? I just erased this one, right? So I know my diameter of one of these circles is half of 5. Because let's think about it. I'm going to explain that one more time. If from here to here is 5, I only went halfway, right? I'm trying to find this. So half of 5 is 2.5. Okay, so let's write, I'm going to write down here what I have. I know the diameter for one circle, we just found is 2.5. But again, how do we find area? We find area by doing 3.14 times radius, right? So if the diameter is 2.5 and I need the radius, right? What do? Back up on our example problem, we did a diameter of 12 and we said the radius was 6. So I just need to find what's half of 2.5. So I need a calculator here. What's half? So 2.5 divided by 2 gives me a radius of 1.5. Or sorry, not 1.5, 1.25. Okay, so let's find if I find the area of one of these circles, I can then multiply it by 4 because I have 4 of them. So let's do that. 3.14 times 1.25 times 1.25. Okay, when I do that, I get 4.9. I have enough room here, 4.9. Okay, so now what we said was that would be the area for one of these, and I have 4, so let's put this in a different color. 4.9 times 4 gives me a final answer of 19 28.6. And it's okay if you round here, that's fine. Try to keep it to the tenths place. So how I kept it 4.9 and 19.6, right? It's okay that we're dealing with decimals, so. Okay. All right, I'm going to do another one with you. All right, let's find the area of this figure. Let's look at what we have here. Now, look at this. Right here, they draw a half circle. Do you see how it curves? Now, if I look at the other end, I also see another curve. So I'm going to make this also a half circle. So let's kind of look at our pictures here. I have one half circle, right? It is half of a circle, right? It got cut off as a semicircle. I got another semicircle, and then look what's left in the middle. I have a rectangle. Okay, so if I want to find the area of the whole figure, I'm going to find all three of these, okay? And then just add them together. So let's start with the semicircles. Okay, for my semicircle, look at what they give me. From here to here is 6. So, look what they give me. It's like I'm erasing part of the circle, right? That's what my figure is. So, I got to determine, is that 6 a diameter or a radius? Well, it goes all the way through, so it's definitely a diameter. So my radius is 3. Same thing over here, 6. Right, so again, the other semicircle is also going to be a 3. Now you could look at these two ways. You could look at it as you have two semicircles, or if I have a semicircle and another semicircle, it makes a whole entire circle, right? So what I could do is I'm just going to do 3.14 times, my radius is 3, times 3, and I get 28.26. Now, I'm not going to divide it by 2 because, I mean, I could divide this by 2, but then I would have to do it again because I would have to account for the other semicircle. But think about this. If I have a half of a circle and another half of a circle, it does make one full circle. So 3.14 times 3 times 3 gets me 28.26. Okay? So now let's find the area of the rectangle. The area of the rectangle is 8. That's one dimension. The width is 6. And it's a rectangle, or area of a rectangle. We just do length times width. 4 times 8 gives me 48. Now, they wanted the area of the whole entire figure, so don't forget, we got to add these two up. 48 plus 28.26 gives me a final answer of 76.26. Okay? All right, I'm going to do one more with you. I know this is new. That's why I just want to make sure that you guys got it. Okay, let's look at our number 4. Okay, look at our figure. Do you guys see I have a semicircle up top? And I have a triangle at the bottom. So, let's find the area of the semicircle first, and then we'll work on the triangle. So, it is a half of a circle. It's like they cut off part of the circle, right? So, since I don't have another, and the problem above, we had 2 semicircles, which makes a whole one, right? But I don't see another piece of that circle somewhere. So, I definitely have half of a circle. So, I'm going to have to divide that by 2 because I have half of it. So, how do we find the area of a circle? We need a radius, but they give me a diameter here. So, if the diameter is this in a different color. If the diameter is 10, that means my radius, which would be half of that, would be 5. Right? So let's find that area. 3.14 times 5 times 5. And don't forget, we're going to have to divide this by 2. So 3.14 times 5 gives me the 78.5. But that would be if I had the whole circle. Remember, I only have half, so I got to divide that by 2. So I actually get 39.25. Okay? That would be the area of the half circle. So we did the circle piece. Now what we need to do is, well, what's left? The triangle. So let's work on the triangle piece. Okay, for the triangle, how do we find the area of a triangle? We find the area of a triangle by doing base times height divided by 2, right? That was the formula for triangle. So let's work on that. The base of the triangle is 10. The height of the triangle is 12. 10 times 12, don't forget, triangle, we always divide by 2. 10 times 12 is 120, divided by 2 gives me 60. And now I found the area of the semicircle. So now I'm going to add that with the area of the triangle, which will give me a total area of 99.25. Okay? All right, so that leaves you with 2 problems, which I have confidence that you can do. So go back and use the video to help you. Okay? So, you only have 1 question left. So I want you now to find the area of the shaded region. Okay? These are the kind of problems we're going to work through for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then you'll take a little quiz on Thursday. So please email me if you have questions, and I will be commenting and sending your work back.